Hi everyone. All right. Uh, After I posted my Snowbirds video, this morning I saw a video by Mag Bitter Truth, or this afternoon, and he was covering this news story that happened in Los Angeles about an explosion in LA, which is all over the news worldwide. And, it's a coded story, it's totally absurd. And, the story, the parallels between this story and the Snowbird story is just uncanny. Now, this is News Australia here, and it says pilot dies in light plane crash, LA explosion engulfs firefighters. So, let's see what this one's about. So anyway, the last couple of days there's been a lot of activity across the internet with the words crash and explosion in it. And so this is a big story, much bigger than the Snowbird story. And the number of emergency vehicles that show up is astounding. I mean, they must have sent every single fire truck in the whole city to this thing. And there's no need for it. It's not even, it's a big fire, but it's not that big. It's not so big that you need to send every freaking fire truck in all of LA. So one thing I did notice, if you can see here, whoops, I can't even point to things anymore. The fire happened adjacent to two stores, one called the Green Buddha and another one was called Green something or other, which is also coding. I guess I'll find that in a second. So this happened as well, May 17th. So the Snowbirds Crash was May 17th. The explosion was May 16th. And this explosion of a volcano happened in Japan May 17th, allegedly. So it just seems like there's a lot of this explosion, and this is the only footage I could find of this story. Explosion in chem fabric in Hamburg one day ago. I don't speak German, so I can't really tell what the details are, but regardless, it was posted a day ago. And there's a lot of other stories that are associated with this one here. Dramatic explosion as nuclear cooling towers demolished 4 days ago in Germany. So it's very odd.
This is 7 News with Angela.
It's very odd that there's all of these stories about explosions all at the same time. Pardon me. This is really bad. Okay, so I did a search just in general, explosions that happened May 17th, 2020. Saskatoon News. Chinese consulate blasts Alberta Premier Jason Kenney for COVID-19 criticism. So it's not even just stories that feature explosions or crashes. It's also the language that they use. This is all predictive programming for some kind of explosion or blast or crash that they want us to manifest. That's what it appears like to me. And I don't like spreading fear stuff. So take it with a grain of salt, because I don't like the fear stuff, but I like to be realistic and I like to know what's going on. And when I see something like this, I think it's important to point it out, to show that this is what is happening. Now, based on my experience and my knowledge of how this predictive programming and mind control works, that's what this looks like. It looks like they're trying to program us into manifesting some kind of crash or explosion, or even if it's not manifesting it, it is perhaps something that they're going to put a show on that makes us believe that there is an explosion or a blast or a crash. And so whether it actually happens in reality or not is irrelevant. They're going to make us believe that it happened. And so that's what a lot of this has to do with in terms of predictive programming. So I think they do that in the media with 9/11 and everything, and the planes, and making us think that there were actually planes involved when there were none. And so when we see it, we actually think that that's what's going on. And so here it is again. Chinese consulate blasts Alberta premier. LA firefighters recovering after explosion of the hash oil. Developing news in West Michigan, the LA explosion. So then, crash, May 2020. 2 injured in Lawrence and Kennedy crash, May 19th. Worried about a second 2020 market crash, May 18th. Somalia probes Kenyan aid plane crash, May 5th. That's a little bit further back. Oil price crash, May 18th. So, let's see if that video's... This video is useless. So yeah, okay, here's a report on the fire. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it because it's got some strange language in it. I wanted to point out a few things that pop up in it.
This video from Boyd Street, downtown. This is where
Boyd Street is an anagram for body.
the fire and explosion took place yesterday evening.
Fire and explosion. There's the green Buddha, and right next to it is another green something or other store with green on it. This is a very small building for such a large fire, and the other buildings aren't even touched by the fire, which is very strange considering how many firefighters and fire trucks came and how massive the blaze was. How is this building not touched by the fire at all? So it's very strange. And here it says Butor, Butar, Dr. Butar, 768, probably coding.
Evening. We're told it was just before 6:30 when firefighters there in the area saw
6:30 for your 3 6s.
smoke and actually responded. They
Saw smoke and responded. Why did she pronounce it that way? Why did she say responded? And she says responded later. So there's Boyd Street.
came from Fire Station 9, which is less than a
Fire Station 9, or your number 9.
mile away. We're told firefighters were inside the building. They were on the roof. When for whatever reason,
On the roof, just like the other story about the snowbirds.
the commander there on the scene thought the smoke looked funny. He ordered
Thought the smoke looked funny? Funny? So why would you think that the smoke looked funny? And why would you pronounce it funny? I don't think she's making a mistake here. What is, first of all, funny to me says that this is all fake, which it must be, because how on earth would the fire burn that building with flames this high and yet not affect the building next to it?
everyone out of the building, and it was in the process of evacuating the building when there was some sort of a flash.
process of evacuating the building, just like the planes were ejected, the people ejected from the plane before it crashed.
Or explosion that injured all 11 of those firefighters. A mayday call went out and
A mayday call. Mayday. Mayday is just like 9/11 emergency. Mayday, mayday, we're in distress, we're having a problem. This is like a lot of the protests that are going on, especially in Toronto right now. They're holding the flag upside down, which is a sign of distress. And I noticed on the crash site for the Snowbird plane, the tail end of the plane was upside down, so that the Canadian flag was upside down, which really strongly indicates that it was either planted there or the whole thing is just CGI. And this is looking fishy too. So,
of course, more than 200 firefighters that were on duty from all over the city responded to that area. Firefighters that were off duty showed up at the hospital as everybody wanted to know if these firefighters were okay.
and again, people coming together to find out that everyone is okay. Look at all the number of firefighters here. What are they going to do? And are they trying to say that this fire extended all the way back there and yet it didn't affect the building that was right next to it? Meanwhile, the building that was on fire is practically destroyed. What are these fire trucks fighting? Seriously, there's like 2 streams coming from here. And these people, these trucks can't even reach anything. I find that very hard to believe.
Most of the burns appear to be to the upper extremities, to the arms. Some of the firefighters have burns to the back. Some have burns to the ears.
Again with the back.
Burns to the hands. I don't see any evidence of blast injury, which is very, very good. And again, all the firefighters were awake and alert upon arrival. The ones who were placed on ventilators were done to protect their airway, which showed some early degree of swelling from inhalation of the superheated gases.
See, look at the size of this.
All 11 firefighters are expected to survive this blast. But of course, the fire itself and the explosion took place on Boyd Street at a 1-story commercial building called Smoke Tokes. It's not clear exactly what caused the fire to begin with or that explosion, but we're told they did have butane tanks inside that building because it was some sort of a honey oil operation.
Over there, if you even just like go by and walk by them, it's all CBD and butane's highly.
Look at this. Look at this. Witness J.C. Jessica Christian. Just like the plane crash with your J.C. for your Jesus Christ, and she's even got the Christ in the name. Guys, this is just becoming laughable now. I'm just astounded.
Volatile, so it makes sense for that to be what those explosions were.
Appears to be
Hold
a supplier.
on.
Explosions were.
Appears to be a
Walk by them, it's all CBD and butane's highly volatile, so it makes.
So there she goes with the one eye. I'm trying to see what's on her arm.
By them, it's all CBD and butane's highly volatile, so it.
Look at the snake on her arm. And some kind of, I don't know, is it a rose or something? But this is for the one eye with the devil horns. You see the devil horns? Wow, these are crafty fuckers, aren't they?
Makes sense for that to be what those explosions were.
appears to be a supplier for those that make butane.
Again, the Captain 2. Captain 2. This is for your number 11, for your 2 pillars. It's not number 2, it's your twin pillars.
And honey oil.
But of course, exactly what caused the fire and the explosion, that would just be speculation, as it does remain under investigation here this morning. But
Is this her mask? It's just laughable. She's like, I'm a reporter and I take it seriously to wear a mask, but I can't wear it while I'm talking. And I just wear a scarf.
Of course, all eyes and all interest are on those 11 firefighters that remain hospitalized here at USC Medical Center. It's not clear how long they'll have to be here. Last night at that news conference, which was the last update we got, the medical experts here said some of them were just being here overnight as a precaution to make sure they didn't suffer any blast injuries or something that developed later. So hopefully at least a few of those 11 will be released sometime today. Amy?
So, yeah, some very strange activity indeed, and this explosion is a carbon copy of the Snowbirds story. Carbon copy. So, anyway, just thought I would let you know. Okay, talk to you later.